Hi, my name's Ben.
My name's Cole.
And I'm Juliana.
And we're
We're here to tell you about World Changers Missions. My group, me and Ben's group, we had 3 projects, 3 houses that we went to. The first one, we painted the deck, the garage door, and that guy, he was a World War II veteran, and he
had multiple Purple Hearts. He was 95 years old.
And so he couldn't really do those things, so we did that as our group. The second project, we had trimmed up hedges and did a bunch of yard work and stuff.
Fixed the fence, cleaned out the gutters. He was a guy, he's only 52 years old, but he has stage 3 bone marrow cancer. And so he's not able to get up and move around. His bones are just too weak. It was exhausting him just to get up and show us what needed to be done. He had got out there and tried to do the work himself, but he just couldn't do it. So after 2 years of neglecting his yard, we just had a lot of stuff to clean up.
Third project, we had painted her front door and the trim around it, and then her railings that came out, and then did a bunch of weed pulling in her little garden beside her house.
We had 2 projects, one that took us most of the week, and then one that just took 1 day. Our first project was we painted the entire outside of a house and then their screened-in porch, and it was lots of fun. The guy was really nice. He even came out and kind of helped us, showed us what to do. He offered to go and take us lunch and things. It was just really cool, and we went on prayer walks when we were waiting for paint to dry. And then our second one was a lady, her swimming pool had been cracked and everything and it wouldn't hold water. So she was trying to make a patio, and we had to break up the concrete. So we'd break up the concrete and throw it into the pool. And then, while some of us were doing that, others would go to the park and hand out Gatorade and chips and talk to people. So it was fun.
While we were waiting for paint to dry, or one day it was raining, we weren't able to paint it all. We went to this little park that was next to the guy's house, and there was tons of kids running around and people running around. So we got to just prayer walk around the park and speak to people who were there and share Christ with a few different ladies and kids. One lady was her husband had just died, and she was really struggling with that, and she said she went to church about once a month with her daughter, but she wasn't devoted to Christ. And so we gathered around her, put hands on her, and just prayed for her, and you could tell it really moved her. She was in tears by the end of the time that we were done talking to her. And then a few kids, we got to go out and play frisbee with them, and we had these little frisbees that had the ABCs for accepting Christ on the back of them. And we took some kids through those ABCs, and they really enjoyed it, and they accepted Christ that day as well.
On our prayer walks, we talked to a couple people, some older ladies who were struggling. Their husbands had died years ago, and they were just kind of struggling to keep going. So we got to pray with them, and then we went in the park and we met a guy who he had been in the drug cartel and had got out of jail a couple times, homeless, and then he turned back to Christ while he was in jail and just kind of talked to other people around the park.
Our second job, where the guy had bone marrow cancer, being able to do the work, just working with him and talking with him, it moved me personally.
I'd say the same thing. That guy, he was just someone from the baby boomer generation, and you could tell he was trying to put on like this hard exterior and not show very much emotion, but you could tell it definitely moved him. Seeing what we did for him, and being able to see his fence again, and just having a clear swimming pool, and having his fence intact completely, like it just, you could see just the joy in his eyes. Yeah, Cole fixed his lawnmower, both of his lawnmowers, while we were there.
Listening to the guy we met in the park's story, just kind of how he had grown up in a Christian home and then he had turned to sin and God had led him back to Christ. Just really cool to hear that.
It was the prayer devotion day or whatever, where we came into the area in complete silence and we prayed. Everyone prayed, and it was really cool because you could hear people across the room praying. And in almost 2 hours we were basically praying and just lifting God up.
For me, it was Thursday night or Friday night when the speaker Nathan Schaefer told a story about a prayer walk that he did around his neighborhood, and he met this Muslim man and greeted him and prayed for him there and asked if it was okay if he prayed for him, and it really moved me because the Muslim guy he said that he had been living there for 2.5 years and nobody had ever even spoken to him outside of his culture. And when Nathan went up there and talked to him, he knew a little bit of Arabic and just greeted him in Arabic. And when he ran out almost in tears, just, who are you that you would greet me in my own language? And then Nathan prayed for him that him and his wife could have children because they had been trying for a while. And about 3 months later, they were blessed enough to have a children. And now that Muslim man is reading the Bible and is converted to Christ.
I think it was Tuesday when he told a similar story about his wife in the park. This Muslim, I guess, woman and his wife's son, they were fighting, and instead of going over there and telling her that her son was acting very badly, she went over there and started talking to her, brought her back to her house, started having devotions and things with her, just helping her through. Nobody had talked to her in the 5 years she had lived there.
3.
Thank you.